Finally, Phase 1 begins.
Hello, and welcome to another special episode of Superhero Club, your go-to show all about comic book-inspired original series on Prime Video. I'm your host, Stephanie Williams. Before we get too far in, if you want more superhero content like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Prime Video channel. Today we are highlighting Robot, aka Rudy Conners, a mysterious bucket of boats with super intelligence who seems to be a step ahead of everyone. And when it comes to Robot, don't let the hardware fool you. First, we'll dive into some of his comic history, then we'll examine how it compares to the Robot introduced in the Invincible animated series. Robot makes his first appearance in the Invincible comic series in issue number 2. Robot and the rest of the team show up to assist Mark Grayson, aka Invincible, in taking on one of the Mauler twins, who was in the middle of stealing video game system parts. Robot is quickly established as the leader of the team, and at first it seems to be nothing more than a robot program with super intelligence. However, there are hints very early on that Robot has another edge to him that makes him formidable. After the team's encounter with the lone Mauler twin and Invincible, Robot erases the memory of the encounter of the one lone Mauler twin and leaves him near the store where he was caught. Robot does that so that the one twin can lead him and his team to the other, and they can figure out what the Maulers were planning to do with the stolen part. The plan works as Robot theorized, and he also shows that he can throw a good punch too. Robot is also the one to figure out the source of bombings that happened at the local mall. It turns out to be one of the teachers at Mark and Amber's school, David Hiles. Soon after, Robot is invited to try out for the Guardians of the Globe before the original members met their demise at the hands of Omni-Man. Robot's team members congratulate him on the membership request. They also let him know they are okay with him shutting down the team, a testament to the level of respect they all have for him. Robot never had the opportunity to try out for the Guardians of the Globe because they're all murdered shortly after he receives the invitation to try out for the team. Instead, he meets with Cecil Stedman, the department head of the Global Defense Agency. Cecil shares with Robot that he has been selected to head the new team and to put it together. Robot accepts, quickly organizes a tryout alongside Cecil's right-hand man, Donald Ferguson, and then assembles a new team consisting of Duplicate, Rexplode, Black Samson, Monster Girl, and Shrieking Ray. After Invincible and his father have their infamous showdown and Invincible is left nearly dead, Robot and the new Guardians of the Globe set up their temporary base in the old team headquarters. Robot learns through his conversation with Donald that Invincible is under the care of the Global Defense Agency. Donald also shares that top government officials are not pleased with the new Guardians' performance so far, and that it is imperative their performance improves or other measures will have to be taken. A bit of time passes before we see Robot in action again. He and the rest of the Guardians of the Globe avert an alien invasion by the Flaxons with the help of Invincible Adam Eve. Robot quickly figures out the bands the Flaxons wear stop them from aging quickly and instructs everyone to begin removing them. The Flaxons panic and their leader orders them to retreat back to their dimension. So by now, you're probably wondering why Robot takes a sample of Rex's DNA and enlists the help of the Mauler twins to assist with cloning him a new body. We're going to get into that shortly, but would like to note that a few other important things happen in the comics and we'll revisit them in another video. Robot has had a plan all along to create himself a new body, but was unable to successfully do so by himself. So this is where the Mauler twins' cloning expertise and Rex's DNA come into play. It's nearly impossible for either twin to determine who is the clone or the original and who is the clone of the clone. That is how seamless the process works, and Robot is aware of it. Robot offers the twins any sum of money they desire to assist in cloning a new body for him made from Rex's DNA. Once the twins successfully replicate Rudy Conners' mind from his original body to the new one, he flips the script on them when they demand payment. Rudy Conners uses a giant robotic drone to fight the twins and easily subdues them. Soon after, Robot informs Cecil of what happened, telling him that he was actually not a robot this entire time. Instead, he was a human controlling said robot. Later, along with Cecil, Robot breaks the news to the Guardians of the Globe, explaining all that had happened with his actual body and the Mauler twins. Robot, aka Rudy Conners, also tells Monster Girl that she was the reason he decided to give himself a clone body, telling her that studying her plight reminded him of his own, so he decided to devise a solution. Rudy tells Monster Girl that he specifically picked Rex's form to clone because it was pleasing to her eye, but tells her that he does not love her or anything along those lines. Monster Girl then asks him if he would like to hang out with her sometime, to which Rudy replies he would, remarking under his breath that phase 2 of his plan is underway. Alright, and now that seems like a really great place to put a pin in this. So we're going to move on to the robot that we've gotten to know in the Invincible animated series. Similar to his first comic book appearance, Robot makes his on-screen debut with the Teen Team when they arrive to assist Invincible as he tries to save civilians from invasion by the Flaxons in episode 2 of season 1. Robot's field leadership skills are on display as he directs Teen Team members in the fight against the Flaxons. Cecil appears to give Robot praise after the Flaxons start dying due to their rapid aging on Earth, which causes them to leave. However, Cecil's praise does come with some hard-hitting facts that it wasn't actually a victory because 338 people died. But it's Robot, so he quickly takes Cecil's assessment and provides information he is using to theorize why the Flaxons started abruptly dying. He believes time runs faster where they live versus how time works on Earth, a fact that will come in handy later in the episode when the Flaxons attack again. The second time the Teen Team and the Invincible face the Flaxons, they realize if they destroy the wrist bracelets the Flaxons are wearing, it will cause them to age rapidly and die. The Flaxons retreat once again, only to come back a third time with immunity to the time stream. Robot calls in a nuclear response, but everyone disagrees with such an aggressive choice. Omni-Man, who had been recovering from his injuries after killing the Guardians of the Globe in the first episode, finally shows up and takes care of the Flaxons for good. In episode 3, Cecil offers Robot a job at the Global Defense Agency so that he can build him a new Guardians of the Globe team, now that there were several vacancies thanks to Omni-Man. Robot organizes a tryout for the new Guardian hopefuls at the Pentagon. He ends up extending memberships to Duplicate, Rexplode, Black Samson, Monster Girl, and Shrinking Ray. Rex and Black Samson share a tense moment that results in Robot catching a stray insult when he is on the receiving end of Black Samson's irritation. Samson tells Robot he isn't a big fan of taking orders from a bunch of ones and zeros, a moment to keep in mind. Robot also offers Adam Eve a spy on the Guardians of the Globe, but she declines because she doesn't want to be on the same team as Rex and Duplicate after she caught them together. At the end of the episode, Robot is looking a little funny in the light as he is the one to help the Molar twins escape from prison, but his motivations at the time are unknown. In episode 4, Robot is watching the surviving Molar twin begin the cloning process to bring his brother back to life, but Robot is interrupted by Rexplode, who welcomes him to the new Guardians base of operation. Shortly after the tour is done, Robot watches a heated exchange between Rex and Monster Girl. Afterwards, he approaches Rex to tell him to keep professional and personal relationships separate. Robot doesn't want to repeat of what happened between Rex and Duplicate since it costs the Guardians a valuable member, Adam Eve. Rex dismisses him, but not before Robot gets a sample of his DNA. At the end of the episode, a little bit more Robot's side project is revealed as he enters a room and presents Rex's blood sample to an unknown person floating inside of a chamber full of liquid. In episode 5, it's clear Black Samson is a more adept leader than Robot, and maybe that's because Robot's focus is elsewhere. The new Guardians return to their base after taking on the Lizard League, and Black Samson gives everyone a rundown on how they could have performed better. Something that maybe their leader Robot should have done, but later in the episode, Robot finally makes himself known to the Molar twins. After a quick scuffle, Robot explains he isn't there to fight, but instead he needs their expertise in tissue regrowth and DNA replication. He gets them to agree by offering them money. It's clear Robot is willing to get dirty to get what he's after, which is very human of him. Robot expresses human emotions again after Monster Girl is severely injured in episode 5. Robot and the Guardians come to the rescue of Invincible, who was trying to help Titan free himself from Machine Head. In episode 6, Robot walks into the operating room at the GDA to help save Monster Girl's life, stating that he studied her physiology. In episode 7, Robot begins glitching while talking to the now recovered Monster Girl. Meanwhile, another version of Robot, the real one, visits the Molar twins again to check on their progress. A little later in the episode, Robot's new body is ready for a neural transfer from his old body. Once the neural transfer is successful, Robot, who is now Rudy Conners, or always was, turns on the Molar twins before leaving. Now in his new body, Rudy reveals himself to the Guardians. They react to the news with surprise, of course, because until then, they always thought Robot was nothing more than a robot. Monster Girl realizes he did all of this for her as Rudy explains he was trapped in a mechanical tomb just as she was trapped in a younger body due to the nature of her powers. By the end of the season, the last time we see Rudy, he is still with the Guardians and is using the robot body as a mech suit. And this concludes this deep dive character session of Superhero Club. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm your host, Stephanie Williams. Don't forget to like and subscribe for new episodes of Superhero Club. Remember, you can check out the first season of Invincible on Prime Video, and some episodes of season 2 are also streaming now.